For years, instructional design has leaned heavily on customizing training to fit visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learning styles. But the scientific evidence supporting this practice is actually pretty weak. That doesn't mean we should throw out sensory variety altogether. Mixing up visual, audio, and physical elements is a highly practical way to keep people interested and prevent your audience from tuning out due to habituation. To design training that actually works, we need to look past theoretical style quizzes. The objective is to build a real-world learner profile based on concrete environmental and behavioral data. To execute this profile, you need exactly 3 things: a specific training topic, a recording device for your notes, and guaranteed direct access to the actual people who will be learning the material. By identifying how your audience actually works on the job, rather than how they categorize themselves on a survey, you shift the focus of your design from educational theory to the practical reality of the learner's day. The first step in this analysis happens before you even speak to a learner. You determine your baseline delivery method by looking directly at the content and the task you need to teach, ignoring the learner's supposed style entirely. If you try to match the medium to the learner, the process breaks down. Imagine trying to train a car mechanic on a complex engine repair using only an audiobook. The format fails the reality of the work. Hands-on physical tasks inherently require visual demonstrations and kinesthetic walkthroughs to be understood. As a designer, use basic common sense to pair your training medium directly with the real-world mechanics of the subject matter itself. The nature of the task dictates the tool. By following the work, you establish a solid baseline for your training format before any interaction with the learner begins. With the baseline set, we move to the first active phase of audience analysis, scheduling a brief, direct, in-person interview with someone who is currently learning the topic or who just recently learned it. It is tempting to bypass the learner and talk to managers or subject matter experts. The absolute danger here is that experts often explain the process exactly as the manual says it should be working, leaving out the friction of daily use. While the management side sees a pristine workflow, the actual frontline workers frequently rely on practical shortcuts in the real world. Use a checklist. Ask, where does the process hurt? What is the absolute hardest thing to learn? And what crazy exceptions have you seen? Next, map their timeline. Ask for a typical daily example and what they wish they had known on day 1. This interview phase is successful when you uncover a discrepancy between the official corporate rulebook and the daily habits the workers are actually using. The second active phase is contextual inquiry. This requires physically relocating into the learner's actual environment so you can observe them actively working. This must occur in their real workspace, whether that is a factory floor or a computer setup in their den. You absolutely cannot complete this critical step in a conference room, through a focus group, or via a simple email survey. The reason we observe in the workspace is because learners unconsciously automate their steps. If you only interview them, they gloss over vital physical details simply because they no longer have to think about them. Your countermeasure for this automation is to watch for skipped or rushed steps. When you spot one of these, immediately interrupt the learner and ask for direct clarification on exactly what they just did. While you observe, pay close attention to their physical surroundings. You need to capture these environmental details to build situational triggers into the final training program. People remember information better when they are in an environment similar to where they learned it. Actively matching the visual and situational context of your training directly to the learner's physical environment greatly aids long-term memory retention. Step 3 is to compile all the notes, undocumented shortcuts, and environmental observations you collected during the talk and follow phases. This compiled data constitutes your real-world learner profile. It replaces theoretical learning styles with hard, observable evidence. This data removes the primary source of friction for the designer, the need to guess what material is relevant or invent hypothetical scenarios from scratch. You can now use these extracted, real-world exceptions as the raw material to storyboard your first training module. Choosing direct observation over learning style theories grounds the training in the learner's actual environment, resulting in a design that reflects the reality of the work being taught.